Having a music career in Singapore is borderline suicide. There's nothing for the arts over here. But is it all worth if you get to perform in the biggest free indie music festival that the nation has ever seen? To answer this question, we have to go all the way back to 13 June 2025. My favorite band, Valley, was coming to Singapore, and I brought some of my friends to watch them in their concert. It was a really sick night, and at the end of it all, I met up with this girl right here. You might know her if you've watched last year's National Day Parade, and if you didn't, you might have seen her in that one Crash Adams video that blew her up. This right here is Shaza, national icon, local artist. She has 2 albums out, and I've helped to produce her music in those 2 albums. And she was about to ask me a question that would change my life forever. But to understand how significant this question is to me, we have to go all the way back to 2nd July 2024. I just finished the editing and the production for my upcoming album, Where Are You Now That It's Over, and at that same day, I had to enlist. For those of you who don't know, after the boys graduate their tertiary education, we have to serve 2 years in the army. If it was already hard, it was about to get a lot harder. Imagine putting in your heart, your blood, your sweat, your tears, your soul into this record, and then the government snatches you from your creative life and forces you to do physical training. Of course, after a while I got used to it, but it still didn't change the fact that every single book out that I had in the weekend, I'd also be physically and mentally tired every single time I finally had the time to do music. Not to mention that any live show that I wanted to play had to be on the weekend. This meant turning down countless offers to play gigs on weekdays, some of which the lineups were so amazing. This took a real toll on me. In fact, I only played 2 shows in the second half of 2024. First one being in late July at Ignite, and the second one being a self-funded, self-run, and self-produced gig at Phil's studio. But nonetheless, those 2 gigs gave me a taste, gave me another reminder that there was still a life for me waiting outside of army. And if you go to my profile right now, you might notice that I have one song that pops up in front of everybody else. This right here is Ikaw Ikaw Ikaw, and it had just hit 10 million streams. It went viral literally like 1 week after we produced it. When you have a song like that, you gotta play a live show. But because of the nature of army, I had to turn down so many gigs, and I really felt like I was never gonna get that big breakthrough and that big opportunity to perform in front of people. Let alone, the only thing that was going for me in army was this little EP I was writing with my friend Timothy while I was in camp. Wait, the only thing that was going for me in army was writing this little EP, and in that EP, one of the songs that we put out had Shaza in it. And when you put all of this in context, now you guys will understand the excitement on my face when Shah asked me to open for her album launch. Shah was about to release her 2nd studio album, and she was going to do an album launch for it. And the number 1 name that popped up to open for her was this kid. Imagine my excitement when I found out that I was about to play in front of a huge crowd after not playing and performing for over half a year. How exciting is that? It's a music festival for the people, for the bloody people. She did that for y'all. And I also had homework to do on my part. I had to shake the rust off me because I hadn't performed in a long time. So the first step was to look for a new band, and lo and behold, I immediately knew the first 3 people I would call. They're in this same picture over here with Shah. Timothy, obviously you guys know him. Dominic, who is my longtime co-producer and my big boss over here. And Jayus, who is an underrated guitarist, underrated artist. You guys should go listen to him. I called my good buddy Lee Yue, who hadn't enlisted yet because he was 1 year younger than me. So to play keys, and for drums we got this guy over here, Mr. Davey Tan. Now from June to August I really didn't do much because 1, I was just the opening act in the show, so I had very little things to do, and 2, you don't really start rehearsals until like the month into the show so that everyone's fresh. But I did get a text from Shah that was really concerning. I only had 20 minutes for my set. And I understand that I'm an opening act, so I would naturally get a relatively shorter time than the main act. But 20 minutes for my return to the live stage, come on! The only problem was I wanted to play new and old songs, both for the fans that have been with me from day 1 and the ones that just found me through my new EP with Tim. And looking at the timestamps on Spotify, it really didn't seem like it was possible. It really felt like I was not gonna be able to do it. I spent one whole night in the studio just making transition after transition from song to song, and the set list is finally done. Now it was time for rehearsals, and here are a few clips because honestly, like, they were so fun. I stubbed my toe! Ah!
Let's welcome the Spirit of the Lord in this place.
Ah! Praying with a mandolin.
2, 3,
Oh, shit! I'm saving him.
Manual trim.
To all the ABGs and the XMMs, your idol is here.
verse 2, 3, 4.
You could just tell I was so excited to play this festival. I was returning to the stage with a full band, and arguably the best band I've ever worked with, and show day arrived, and this happened.
I've just finished getting ready, or like I'm in the process of getting ready. I woke up with a really bad cold, really bad flu. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my voice is dead right now. Just spammed a lot of like medication, you know, I'm gonna bring it to the venue as well.
Now imagine that you're about to play potentially the biggest show you've ever played in your entire life, and the gods just strike you with like every single disease. It's not that major, it was just a cold, but it really did heavily affect my voice. I had to spend the whole morning, rather than going up and showing the soundcheck early, it really hurt that I had to take drowsy meds and sleep it all off. Not to mention that when I did leave for soundcheck and I arrived, remember that kazoo that I was supposed to bring to the rehearsal? Yeah, me and Dom bought one right after, and I forgot to bring it in soundcheck.
We're in the holding room. I forgot to bring my kazoo for a sound check. Drew is helping me buy it. Thanks to her, she saved the show.
I had to get Drew, who's my girlfriend, to get one because she was on the way there, but she was not gonna arrive before my soundcheck ended. This meant that kazoo solo that I've been planning for a whole month, it could potentially not like even happen at all because we couldn't sound check it. But I decided to take a gamble, talk to the sound guy, and just told him, hey man, after this guitar part, there's gonna be a kazoo solo, so I know we didn't do that in sound check, but you know what, you just like turn up the volume if you need to later. It felt like everything was going wrong that day, and if you thought my luck was so bad, it was about to get even shittier. Now the event was sponsored by Nando's, and they had put a honey lime chicken for me because they knew I couldn't eat chili. But I ate the wrong box, and I ate spicy chicken right before my show. Can you imagine how my throat felt being on a flu, tired from soundcheck, and eating a spicy chicken? How bad is my luck? But like any other concert, the best part about it was the people. When the doors finally opened, I did meet some of my friends and visited a lot of the booths. There was a lot of cool shit actually. There was a whole coffee shop. There was a whole like thrifting merch apparel that was like really good. It's called Tell Your Children, but I read it as Sell Your Children. And finally, the time came. The moment arrived. I had to go on stage, returning after a hiatus of 6 months from live shows, debuting some songs and playing some old classics. Here was Icebox finally on stage. Oh, she has a face, mandolin, playing with a mandolin, and she's mandolin with pills they put the mandolin. Oh, she's about to die. Hearing the people cheer for me in that intro really motivated me to give my all in that performance. Madeline was a hit. People were grooving, people were dancing, and when I asked everyone to stand up, the whole front row immediately stood up because they knew this set was gonna be fire. And if you thought my bad luck had run out and everything was going well, right after I asked everyone to stand up, in the transition from Madeline to Panic, the crew, actually Shah's dad himself, went up to me in the middle of the transition and said, "Yo, you're gonna have to ask the people to sit down because the people in the beanbags who are watching, they can't see. You know, it's not fair for them. So you gotta go down." And my concern at that moment wasn't even like, oh, they gotta sit down and like it's gonna be awkward because I'm gonna play hype songs and everyone's just seated down on the floor. No, my concern was hitting the transition from Madeline to Panic. However, when I did get past the first verse, my nerves started to get rattled a little less, and hearing the crowd cheer for me as I played the song, and hearing the band just go ham in the background, like that really set the tone for the rest of the night. It was an amazing time on stage, both in the concert itself and being in the crowd watching Shah perform. It was an amazing comeback. There were so many moments that I'm so happy it got clipped. Playing Shazza Fest was arguably the biggest crowd I've ever played for, and I couldn't be more happy that it was them, because right after that, you know, meeting the fans, you know, saying how they loved the set and enjoyed the set, and meeting new people as well, it was really refreshing to have felt that. To be able to reminisce and, you know, experience it in the moment is a very different kind of gratitude that I have for everybody who was involved in this project, because that day I learned that whatever life throws at you, and when you least expect it, there's always going to be a door that opens to lead you on the way out. And if you ever feel stuck, and if you ever feel like shit, and if you ever feel like getting defeated and losing is the best closure you're going to get, just ask the question, is it worth killing your heart, body, mind, and soul if you get to play the biggest performance after? Well, if the fulfillment is just as good as I got it, definitely is.